I'm here this afternoon with Phil Haney. Phil, I would love to hear your perspective on what the news that has just broken in the last few days on the FISA. Will you kind of pick up the story with kind of your impression and your information on that particular topic?
Sure, thank you. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that being a founding member of the Department of Homeland Security, we saw memos written in a similar style commonly. They were classified and we read them internally, but what was remarkable about this particular memo is that it was talking about people and personnel within our own law enforcement structure that were doing things that were either at least extra legal, right on the edge of legality, or were, as we may well find out as time goes on, actually illegal. They were abrogating their constitutional authority and abusing it. And that's one of the most serious things that anybody with public trust in the law enforcement arena can do. And so, of course, we take an oath to prevent or help protect our Constitution and prevent terrorist attacks and threat from foreign and domestic. But then the process, Newness, I would like to give him a big thumbs up because of all the opposition that he dealt with, simply doing what he was actually taking an oath to do. It's an oversight committee. And yet, didn't we all hear a constant artillery barrage of opposition and reasons and accusations that he was abusing his authority, etc. So then when the memo came out, the FBI often said that they had serious concerns about the memo.
Yes.
Well, they should have. But it's the interesting thing about the power of language. They're actually right. They should have had serious concerns about the memo, but in exactly the opposite way that they meant it. And so my hope is that as we go forward, this sunshine, bringing this light information out into the light, is going to be curative, just like when you have a sore. It'll help it heal. And if we are going to recover ourselves and find a wherewithal to bring our country back to a position based on constitutional principles, then it may be painful to do it, but we're going to have to. And it's going to have to start, like in this case, from the inside and work its way out. So I'm very, very heartened. When the memo was released just yesterday, I haven't had a feeling quite like that in a long time, if ever. Because some of your listeners may know that they did the same thing to me.
Yeah.
They came after me using similar kinds of extra and or illegal procedures to go through my emails, to go through my phone calls, to find any point of contact. If I had crossed over the line of mixing my personal email with my work-related emails just one time,
Wow.
over an undefined year's length of
service,
time,
yeah.
I would have been fired. I could have even been up to and including put in jail, because the very agencies, the FBI and the DOJ, Department of Justice, are the ones that were investigating me. And they convened a grand jury to find probable cause to indict me on criminal charges. Imagine what it must have been like to have those forces coming against me, but with no Twitter, no media campaign, and no backup from the administration. And that's why I said, you know, hallelujah, and thank you, President Trump, for having the determination. Let's let the process unfold as we are constitutionally allowed to do, and bring it out into the light and let the consequences fall where they might. So I am a great admirer of his strength, meaning Newness, to stand up, to walk this thing through the whole process, to take all this various pieces of information and background and condense it down to a manageable 4-page memo. And but the other thing about it is I think we all intuitively recognize it's only the beginning. This is a mere iceberg. The 10% that you can see, most of it is still underwater, so to speak.
So do you believe that it'll begin unraveling and leading into other areas and departments?
Yeah, that's what I call deja vu all over again. Once you start pulling this string, it's going to lead to Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, Department of Justice. Basically, all of the agencies charged with law enforcement are going to eventually be brought into this, as long as President Trump permits them and gives them the authority to go ahead and follow it. He'll have to be the lead on it. If he can back up Congress, if he can back up people that are active duty in the FBI with the authorization to dig through this, and or the Department of Justice with Attorney General Sessions, then yeah, I'm very hopeful. I haven't seen a sign that was just giving me this much hope in quite a long time. And I do know one thing as well, that if it was President Clinton, that none of this would have ever come to light.
True.
So that in itself, even it's a little bit counterintuitive, it gives you great reason for hope, because otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it at all. So having been through this for more than 15 years now, I hope the time comes that not only these threads are followed, but some of those other connecting threads, really even eventually back to my own case, because we haven't had remedy for that yet.
Mm.
And why is it important? Is it about me? Is that's why I'm concerned about it? No. I was just a witness to something that happened.
Yeah.
And I was able to document it and archive it and keep it. And I'm waiting for the day I'm going to have the opportunity to bring those things to light. And why is that all important? Because if we don't find remedy, we're going to see the same things happen
Repeat itself.
over and over.
Yeah.
And that's the pledge, the oath that I took. That's why I'm still involved. So that's why yesterday was such a great day for me, because for the first time in a long time, we actually saw the constitutional checks and balances form of government work the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And so I have great hope going forward that we'll see more examples of that.
That's wonderful. We need a little hope of a major turnaround in house cleaning at the White House.
We do, from the top down.
Yeah.
Or if you want to say from the inside out.
Yes, yes.
These abrogations of constitutional authority did start on the inside. And again, that's what I saw as a founding member. I saw it like watching a slow motion explosion in super slow-mo, as this, first it blew the walls down of the structure within the federal government. Then it went out to the local and state level law enforcement. And then it went out into the general public. You see? And so what we're seeing now is either a slow motion reversal or a glimpse into the destruction that was brought about by these directives and policies of the former administration. We're getting a glimpse into how destructive it actually was. And yeah, it might be horrifying, but there's more. And I hope that they do follow up and don't let the momentum die in the investigation, but take it wherever it leads. I believe, based on my reading of President Trump, that he's going to expect that, and that we may see, well, more kind of revelations in the days to come of these connections. And if we follow through, it'll set a precedent, won't it?
Yes.
That will have repercussions throughout our social political structure. That if you abrogate the Constitution and abuse your authority, it might not be today or tomorrow or next week or next year, but at some point you will be confronted with the consequences. Yeah.
And that's sorely needed.
Definitely sorely needed. And if it starts from the top down, and then the government of, for, and by the people begins to work from the grassroots level up, then you have this point of contact, and the whole system begins to work the way it was originally designed.
That might be rather refreshing.
It certainly would be, because people that care for our country, the biggest question they have, other than why did they do it, is what can we do about it?
Yes.
And so this gives an opportunity, a motivation, if you will, of hope that, hey, if I get involved and I really become familiar with these subjects and these challenges at the local level, that there might actually be some hope that will accomplish something. And again, that's why I stood steadfast all this time, because having seen it, I know that it's real. There's no way anyone can disprove it or argue me out of my conviction or persuade me that it didn't happen, because like life and breath itself, I saw it.
Yeah.
And I know it's real. And again, that's why it was so refreshing yesterday. Finally, these people got a taste of their own medicine. And they don't like it, do they?
No, I don't imagine they do. Mm-hmm. Well, we're looking forward to having you back in San Angelo, hopefully in April. And I have a feeling by then you'll have even more to share about
Lots of stories coming up, I think.
I think so too. I think that timing will be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your time today.
You're certainly welcome.
Appreciate it.